Hello everyone, my name is Tabby and welcome back to my channel Keeping Tabs, where today I'm going to share with you guys my top 10 favorite series of all time. And just to help me out, I'm only going to be holding up the first book in the series, but for two of these cases I have only the second and third books to show you because I've read the first couple of books on ebook and I haven't picked up the physical copies yet. And it really pains me to see the unfinished series on my shelf when I know that I've read them all. Anyways, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about my favorite series. And it's impossible for me to rank these in any order, but I did separate them from a top 5 and a bottom 5. But within those two groups, it's all over the place. It really is. I just love them all so much and have so many feelings for them. The first two books I actually am going to show you are two books that aren't on this list, but have the potential to being on future favorites book series lists. These series are still ongoing and they are halfway through the series. I think both of them are going to be 4 books long and only the first 2 books. I just spit so bad all over my computer. Cool. Anyways, the first 2 books are out for both of these series. And I really love them, and I can totally see them being one of my favorites in the long run. First one being the Ember in the Ashes series by Sabatier. I really love how dark and grim and brutal and violent these books can get. I just love dark storylines and just unfortunate things happening to our characters, and that is just all up in this book. I love it. It's very fun. It's based in the desert and it's desert fantasy and it's got all kinds of really interesting magical creatures that the characters or like the people in this world believe to be like extinct or they're just myths, but they're now starting to resurface, and it's such a fun time. One of my favorite characters, female characters ever, is in this series. Her name is Helene. I promise you'll love her. She's so badass and strong and amazing. Reaper at the Gates comes out in June, I think the 15th, I don't remember the date, but I know that it's June, and I'm very excited about that. Although I'm not too excited about the cover change, but we are not going to even get into that. Anyways, the second book that has so much potential for becoming my favorite is the Witchland series by Susan Dennard. This is Truth Witch, and the second book is Wind Witch. It's right here, and it's beautiful. I love this series so much. The first book, I'm not going to lie, the plot and world building is a little shaky, but it's definitely the characters that are driving this story. They are so lovable and you will feel so attached to them. You will love them, I promise. They are so real feeling and they are all badasses. They can all take care of themselves. They are just great. There's also like female friendship. There's lots of diversity in this book. I feel like all the characters are people of color. Maybe like 1 or 2 are white from the descriptions I'm going off of. But it's a great series, and I cannot wait for Blood Witch. It's coming out next year. It's fine. I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm so excited. Okay, now we're getting into the top 10. This is the bottom 5, but I still really love them. First, I want to talk about the Mortal Instruments. I have a special place in my heart for this series because it started my love for reading. Here it is, my Mortal Instruments shelf. Oh man, there's a lot of emotions about this series because as much as I love it, I'm also one of those people who just wants it to end. It's really hurting me that it's still going and it's gonna be going for a long time and I just want it to end. I want it to end. I know, it's horrible. I'm not a real fan. I've heard it all, but I still love this series, you guys. I still love this series. And if you haven't read this, I recommend reading it, but I'm not as pushy as I used to be about it because I understand this first book is it's kind of garbage. Like, now that I've read more books, I've reread this one like 3 times, and every time I reread it, it's like, you're not as good as I remember. But it's still a fun time, and the characters are awesome, and the world is great, so I recommend it, but like, I totally understand if you can't stand it, because I probably wouldn't be able to read this if I were to pick it up now. Next, I have a new adult series, actually, and it is the Maddox Brothers series, and a lot of people don't know that there's more books after Beautiful Disaster, because this book came out, and it was all over BookTube, and people either really loved it, or they despised it with every inch of their being. They hated this book, and I get it. I mean, they say it's problematic, and it's promoting whatever, and sure, I see that, but I still love it. Like I said, I love dark, twisted, messed up stories. So I continued on with this series. There's 6 more books after this, including Walking Disaster, which is the same story as this but told through the male perspective. Then there's 5 other books told through the other brothers, like it's their stories, and those are the books that I love so much. But obviously it starts with this one. It's a new adult series. It's amazing. Please read it. If you have read all of the series, like past Walking Disaster, definitely comment down below and let me know, because I don't know a lot of people who've read the rest of the books, and I honestly love them so much. Next, I have the 3rd book in the 4-book series, because I read the first 2 on ebook, so I don't have them yet. But it is Cress. It is The Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. Love this series. It's so much fun, and it's so fast to get through, even though the last book is like 1,000 pages. I'm kidding. It's like 800 something. May as well be 1,000, but honestly, you'll speed through it because it's so much fun. My favorite books in this series is Scarlet and Winter, because I am a huge Wolflet fan. I love them so much. I love them so much, and it really hurt me in this book because there wasn't a lot of them. I mean, I love Cress and I love Thorn as much as the next guy, but next to Wolflet, they are nothing, okay? I love them so much, and I want to reread Scarlet like over and over and over again. I haven't read these 2 books though, the novellas. I don't really know if I want to. I'm not really a novella person. I don't know what it is, but I'm never intrigued by novellas, even if it's a part of a series that I love. I've never like been, you know, wanting to pick it up. So let me know if you've read Fairest and Stars Above, and if they're good. Like, should I pick them up? I don't know. The next series is the first series I ever completed in my YA reading history. Vampire Academy by Rochelle Mead. I read this after City of Bones, and back in the day I was reading City of Bones, The Mortal Instruments, and literally nothing compared to The Mortal Instruments. Anybody who tried to tell me to read another book, I was like, no. Is there a Jace? No. Is there Clary? No. Is there Shadowhunters? Then, no. I would not read anything, but then finally my friend convinced me to read this book, and this book made me realize there are other good things in the world, and this is one of them. This is such a great series. It's got a crappy title, I'm not gonna lie, and the book is a little high schooly, but after that, it's so good. And I'm reading Bloodlines. I still have to read the last 2 books in the series, but I strongly recommend this book, you guys. This series is amazing. So many memories. I have to reread the 3rd book because I reread this one and I reread Frostbite, but I need to reread Shadowkiss. Okay, I think this is the last one in the bottom 5, and it's The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. Like, where is Suzanne? Is she still writing? Because I'm really interested. I really want her to write something else. I love this series. I remember my mom bought me this book in softcover. I sat down, read it in like 2 days, dug out the receipt from wherever she had it, went to the store, returned it, and bought the box set, and I've never been happier. This book series, this trilogy, this was such a good experience for me, because I think this was like one of the first really big book to movie adaptations I experienced, and luckily we all know how big and successful the Hunger Games movies were, so that was just so much fun doing the countdown to the movies, finding out the cast, and just everything. I have so many memories with this. I recently watched Catching Fire the other day, and it made me want to reread the whole series because I love Peeta. I love him so much, and he deserves so much. He deserves the world, and I love this book. I love this book. You know what's very weird? I saw in the bookstore the paperback version of this, and it's so much thinner, and I don't understand why that is. Like, the paperback version next to the hardback version, why are they different widths? I mean, I know it's probably different paper. Like, there's obviously a legit reason, but it just always, like, baffles me. Like, why? Anyways, that's the bottom 5. I love all of them very much, but now we're gonna get into the top 5. So, and I think these ones, the top 5 are kind of in order of 5 to 1. So at number 5, I have a series that nobody reads, nobody talks about, nobody knows about. It's the Lorien Legacy series by Pittacus Lore. Pittacus Lore is the pen name for James Fry. James Fry, I don't know how you say that last name, but he's kind of like a despised author because that whole little memoir book he wrote, 1,000 Little Pieces or whatever the heck it's called, and that Oprah fiasco, very entertaining, very entertaining. Anyways, nobody reads this books because they hate the author, but I'm telling you, it's so much fun. It is so much fun. It's so action-packed, adrenaline rush. It's about aliens coming to Earth looking for refuge because their home planet has been destroyed, and they are hiding their identity because the people who destroyed their planet are now coming after them on Earth, and it's up to them to save the world. And it's just so much fun. It's 7 books long, but they're all around this length, and you will fly through them, I promise. There is a movie with Alex Pettyfer, and you know what? The movie is actually pretty decent and pretty accurate to the book. So if you enjoyed the movie, I recommend the series. It gets so much better after the first book. Like, my God, it's so good. Now that we're done talking about that, number 4. Okay, my number 4 and 3 spot are very interchangeable depending on my mood because I like them both for very, very, very different reasons. They're both fantasy, YA. Well, this one's kind of new adult, but it's sectioned in the YA adult section. It's the A Court of Thorns and Roses trilogy. I don't think I need to say much about this. I mean, I got a tattoo because of Akamath. This trilogy is amazing. It's great. I think this is upside down in my book. What the heck? Anyways, I don't think I need to talk about this because we all know what the series is about. But the main reason I like this is because Sarah J. Maas is just so good at making you love the characters. I think it's just her characters that really pulls me in because the world building is not too solid. The plot, I mean, it's a good plot, but it's definitely the characters that I'm here for and the relationships and the building of those relationships. That's why I love this series so much. Then we have the next series, and although they're technically 2 different series, they take place in the same world, and it's very hard for me to separate them because I love them both equally, and it is the Grisha trilogy and the duology. I love these books, and unlike Sarah J. Maas, who everybody says is a jar of mayonnaise, that whole series, I love Six of Crows more than... Let's just talk about Six of Crows, even though I love them both, okay? So they're both on this spot. We're going to talk about Six of Crows because this book is just like the perfect example of what diversity should be like in a book because Leigh Bardugo, she's just amazing at including all kinds of diversity in her stories, not just like ethnic diversity and racial diversity, but also gender diversity, sexualities, different religions, different political viewpoints, different everything, and it's all in there, and it's not in your face about it. It's not like, oh, I've got a diverse character, look what I can make them do. It's just that's who they are, and it doesn't have anything to do with their story and why they're a certain way. It's just, this is him, he's this, but that has really nothing to do with the story, and I just love it. I love it. Also, she's like the best young adult world builder I have ever read in young adult fantasy, so there's that. And my camera is blurry. Is that better? Yeah. So yeah, we have Six of Crows, the Grisha trilogy, and I am so excited for King of Scars. Oh my God, have you seen that cover? I think I've already mentioned this in another video, but like I'm really excited. Like I'm so excited. I think it's a duology. Which, I mean, I always want more books, but she's really good at duology, so I'm okay with it. Also, Nina is gonna be in it. I'm so excited, you guys. I cannot wait. Okay, next is my number 2 spot. It is my number 1 favorite young adult series at this moment, but it's not my favorite series in general, because my number 1 series is not young adult. But it is The Raven Cycle by Maggie Stiefvater, and I only have the last 3 books because I read The Raven Boys on ebook because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I love it. I love this series. I love the writing style. I love the atmosphere. I love Ronan, and I cannot wait for his Dreamer trilogy. It is literally killing me inside knowing that I have to wait. This book is so important to me, and I'm getting a tattoo or 2 surrounded by, well, inspired by this series. I just love it so much. I love it so much. And if you have read it, please talk to me. Like if you've read all of it, and if you've read Opal, we need to talk. I just love this series so much. Like just looking at it, you know, when you look at a book and it just brings back all of your emotions and feels, that's happening right now. I might stop this video and just go reread this book. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta put that down. Anyways, blurby. Okay, there we are. The last series. I didn't have this on my list originally, but then I'm reading the third book in the series right now, and it made me realize, like, girl, this is definitely your favorite series. I have spent so many hours of my life invested into this world and this story and the characters, and that's not even counting the hours I spent reading the books and watching the TV show, because that's a whole other amount of hours. I'm talking about going on fan pages, reading theories and coming up with my own theories, and just I love this series so much. And it is the Game of Thrones A Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin. It's so well written, and the main reason I love it is the world building, because this is so rich with history and culture and just everything. It has everything, and I love it so much. And also I've watched all of the shows, so I know where the story is going, but reading the books and finding all of the clues and the foreshadowing that the author has layered throughout the series is just so satisfying. And it's like, how did he do this? How? It's amazing. I love it so much. Definitely recommend this, and if you don't want to read it, then I definitely recommend the show because it's also really good. But I'm at the point in the books where it's starting to really be different from the show, and I'm so excited to see where he goes in the books because, like I said, it's amazing. And I know I said I'm not really a novella reader, but every side book that he puts out for this series, I want to read that. I want to read The World of Ice and Fire. I want to read Fire and Blood, even though we're all upset that it's not Winds of Winter coming out in October. It's this other book. Or is it November? Either way, we want Winds of Winter. But you know what? I'm okay with that because I'm only on the third book. I still have 4 and 5 to read. So he can take his time with Winds of Winter. That is all I have. Those are my 10 favorite series of all time. Let me know if any of these are on your favorite list and what books you have on your list. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye!